Hello, and welcome to Finish My Story, where we try to tell narratively complex stories one line at a time. Yeah, we're here. We're three. Get used to it. Welcome aboard.
You're on a roll.
On fire tonight. Hello, say hello, everybody. I'm
gonna pause before we even start. You said you're on fire, meaning you're flaming tonight.
God damn it.
Okay, we'll continue.
Who are we? Introduce yourselves.
I'm Cameron, and I am a writer/actor.
I'm Jonathan, and I'm a screenwriter.
And I'm Peter, and I'm an improv actor. And
we are off the rails.
We're not doing well. It's a weird time.
This is the first time that we're recording after the sun has gone down.
Mm-hmm.
We are normally day people, but now for Peter and myself, we're not very good with the sun and the sunlight.
We're Jews.
I just hate the sun. I think
she does.
She
prefers
I think
clouds.
I might be a vampire.
She is.
Have you read that book? 8 Signs That You Might Be a Vampire. It's by BuzzFeed.
Mm-hmm. I've read all the books. I know. I'm read up on all the vampire literature. So,
which is actually true. Cameron is a big vampire fan. We'll have to do that at some point.
Ooh, please.
Yes, she just got very excited.
Yeah, I just woke back.
You're
up.
into the BuzzFeed quizzes?
I'm into vampires. All of it. Yeah, BuzzFeed quizzes,
everything
vampires.
vampire related.
Well, we're not doing vampires
today.
Yeah, this has nothing to do with what we're going to be doing.
Why are we talking vampires? Unless Mordo, the living vampire. Mm-hmm. That's a deep cut.
That is.
For all you comics heads out there. He's a Spider-Man villain. Anyway, why we're doing that, I don't know. But welcome to Finish My Story, where we try to tell narratively complex stories.
One line.
At a time.
And that's what we do. But this week, you may have noticed from our episode title, or you may not have because you just listened without even looking at the episode title.
People don't read.
Yeah, that's why they're listening to stories instead of reading books. Oh, that's sad.
Maybe don't insult our listeners.
You don't need to read now.
Don't tell me what to do, Cameron.
Technology will read for you.
Yes. So this is a very special episode. We talked about last episode maybe doing some themed episodes, and we are totally doing one today because the only thing I've been able to think about for weeks is
men.
Exactly.
Men in tights, actually.
Sweaty hot men in tights.
Glorious beards.
Bulging muscles.
That cod piece on Black Panther, though.
I didn't even notice.
I
That's
did.
a thing?
Mm-hmm. Oh,
okay.
Yeah.
We're going to do a Avengers themed episode. And for legal reasons, this has nothing to do with the Avengers. But
neither the comic or the television show turned
movie with Uma Thurman.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Or the other television show turned movie and talking about the comic book cartoon. Anyway, I'm a big Marvel fan, as you may have heard throughout the years, and we've all seen Infinity War. And why not capitalize on what everyone is talking about and use it for our own personal gain?
Capitalism.
So we're going to tell a superhero story, guys. It's exciting. Cameron does not look excited.
I am.
Stop talking about vampires. And
No, I'm very excited.
She just went down the hill.
I'm excited.
It's the nighttime, guys.
It's the nighttime.
We're
doing this podcast.
Exactly.
At night. Does anybody know that reference? Please tell me you know that reference.
No.
I'm going to be so sad.
What is it?
Am I too young for you? SpongeBob.
I know SpongeBob. I don't know that specific SpongeBob
It's the
reference.
hash slinging slasher episode. They're working the night shift, and he's like, "I'm taking out the trash at night," and like everything's at night.
It's a very funny story.
It is, and you should be laughing a lot harder than you are.
Anyway, what have you guys? So let's bring this back around. What have you guys been into narrative wise? What are you, Cameron? What have you been reading or watching?
Oh God, I don't know.
Aside from Avengers, because we don't want to give away.
It means I've been very into Avengers. Actually,
good.
I'm going to talk about this. The Endless. which is awesome and a great UFO death cult type movie. It's really great.
Independent film.
It's an independent film by someone we know.
It's true.
Yeah.
But it actually has a decently wide release, so you may just so it's not just Cameron being like.
No, I'm not just like promoting. Yeah, Peter's making a jerk off symbol for those who can't see. So
it wasn't
everyone
for
listening
you guys.
to this,
It was for me.
Just for John.
It was just no, it's legitimately a really great movie. It was very fun. It was fun and deep and cool.
Perfect.
I really liked it.
John, what about you?
Aside from Avengers, which I also saw, and I don't want to say anything about because anything is a spoiler.
Yep.
I saw a independent movie called I Don't Feel at Home in This World Anymore. It's with Elijah Wood. It won Sundance last year.
Oh shit.
So y'all should know about it. It's like a small town, little tiny issue turning into a ginormous problem, and just things go off the rails.
Yeah.
It's really great. It's really funny. It's like sort of a true crimey sort of feel. I don't know. Check it out. It's on Netflix. It's so easy to watch. Just turn it on.
I will.
If you're a fan of movies by Jeremy Saulnier, if you know who that is, who did Green Room and Blue Ruin
and Orange Door.
Peter thinks he's funny right now, but he's just hurt my feelings.
How would you bring up the two movies that have colors in the title?
Because he does. It's a color trilogy. It's on purpose.
Well, that makes sense.
But anyway, the star who's been in those movies, he was the star in Blue Ruin, Macon Blair. He wrote and directed this movie, and it's just like that kind of movie. So
cool.
Check it out. I know I sound really enthusiastic about it, but just watch it.
Bam, bam, bam. What have I been watching?
That's what I want to know.
Yeah, I would like to say there's something other than Avengers, but there really isn't. I've watched every Marvel movie.
You've been doing that
I did one a day in the lead up to Avengers.
How
Literally
many is
one
that?
a day. That was 18 days.
So you did 18 days in a row of Marvel movies.
Yes, although I missed a couple days, so I had to do double ups on some days.
Oh, that's hard.
I know.
You had to do it.
I had to do it. But
did
then
you find that you liked like a movie differently than
yes,
like your
actually,
opinions change?
I think, with the benefit of hindsight,
you hate Thor 2 a lot more.
Well, we actually talked about that before.
I know.
In the podcast. And I didn't hate it as much this time when I rewatched it. But I did like Doctor Strange and Age of Ultron more than I had before. I think they're just not they're just kind of fun. And if you're not like expecting a lot, it was like, oh.
I love Doctor Strange.
Doctor Strange, I didn't expect anything, and I loved it.
There you go. But I've also, now it is Tuesday, so Infinity War's been out for 5 days. I've already seen it 3 times. So that's
what are you trying to say?
What I'm trying to say.
What are you saying?
That's all that's on my mind. There is one other thing I've been watching that's not a narrative, though. I've been watching a reality show, so I'm not even going to bring it up.
Well,
which
definitely
ones?
a narrative. Those
what
things are
reality
all
shows?
scripted.
Yeah, I could talk about the reality shows I've been watching, too. I've been watching
It's not going to go well with our last couple of weeks of theming about my personal
RuPaul?
life.
Drag Race?
Yes.
Oh, man, this season's been crazy.
Not this season. I had never
been going back in the catalog.
Well, here's the thing.
Marathoning it. He
Here's
needs to
the
catch
thing.
up so he
Here's
can
the thing.
understand season 10. He
Here's
might not know Eureka's journey if he doesn't.
Stop.
It's not about understanding
That's
season
not
10.
entirely
it's about
untrue.
understanding oneself.
I was talking to someone, and I had only seen like 3 seasons of it, like All Stars 2, and I think 8 and 9.
Missing out.
And someone's like, go back and watch them. I was like, do I really need to go back and watch the 2nd and 3rd season? They're like, yes, you have to. They sent me a clip of Shangela fighting with someone, and I was like, I'm in.
Sugar daddy?
Yes.
I am what? Sickening.
So, yes. So I went back, and season 2 and 3. And now I have to do 4 after that. So, anyway.
You have to.
I have to. I am a completist, if nothing else.
I'm like rolling my eyes at you watching that. I have watched that before. It's not my favorite, but I mean, I am currently watching Bachelor in Paradise.
Oh God, that's so much worse.
Australia.
Ooh.
Oh, God.
Not even the American version. I'm watching the offshoot that is on Australian television.
Oh my goodness.
That is currently
Is that on
airing.
iTunes or something?
No, I have to go out of my way to find it on Australian websites,
Oh, wow.
and I do. I can't tell you. I watch so many Australian Australian and New Zealand reality television shows that I should probably have dual and triple citizenship.
How did you get into this?
That's a really good question. I don't know. I've always loved Australia and New Zealand, and this is the form it has taken.
Crikey. That's why you were doing an Australian
Not
accent
crikey.
earlier.
They don't say crikey.
I know, that was...
Those people don't say crikey.
Okay. Well, we just learned a lot about John there that I never expected to know. But that's...
What can we learn about Cameron next?
We already learned the vampire thing. Well, I knew that already.
You knew the vampire
But,
thing.
like, I don't think you understand
And the 50
how...
Shades of Grey.
I don't think you get how deep
Phone
it goes.
How deep her vampire love goes. It's real deep.
I was on another podcast talking about vampires.
She writes fan fiction.
I do, but not for vampires. I write Harry Potter fan fiction.
Oh, okay.
With the fear of sounding like a Gibb brother, how deep is your love for vampires?
So deep. It's real deep.
It's fang deep.
I love, yeah.
Isn't there like a deep pun for some vampire movie? I feel like Skin Deep. Is that a vampire movie?
Love is only skin deep.
Blah, 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 blah.
Toolbots. Like. Okay,
Woo!
Peter, wrangle us back in.
Let's
here.
go back. So let's go and let's get into it. But just so you know, if it's your first time listening, why? Go back and listen to the other episodes. Like right now. Stop. Hammer time.
Collaborate and listen.
Oh, both 90s hip hop
Yeah.
riffs. Bad hit 90s hip hop, not even like good 90s. But yes, go back. I'm glad you listened to all those old episodes now. You've caught up. Congratulations. What we do here, though, if it is your first time, is we try to tell stories one line at a time, but we have some special things like a...
Story pause.
John, what's a story pause?
Story pause is when we sort of just need a moment to just sort of elaborate on maybe a thing that was said or clarify or just to make fun of somebody and what they say.
Yeah, like 90% of the time, that's what it is.
That is mostly me making fun of other people.
Yeah.
Yes.
But then what do we do? Like, then it's just the story is paused, and then it's just paused forever.
I'll pause a story, and then once I've finished whatever I want to say, whoever paused the story can then resume it by saying, resume story.
Or story resume.
Thank you, Peter.
And we also have a...
Story punishment.
Uh-oh. Ba-na-na-na-na-na-na. What's that?
It's when you do something wrong.
Oh,
it's
no.
if you get a detail wrong or you say the wrong name, get something mixed up, just generally screw things up
Sure.
for the rest of us, you will get binged.
Bing.
Bang.
Just
And-
like that.
If you get the most bings,
Then you get to do a story punishment, which is voted on.
when viewed on our social media pages at Instagram at Finish My Story Podcast, also in Finish My Story Podcast on Facebook, and on Twitter it's Finish Story Cast. Recently, I ran 3 blocks while eating chicken, while streaming it live. If you're wondering where that video went, thank you, Instagram. It's lost forever.
We too are wondering where it went.
I clicked save to archive, and I clicked share to Facebook. It did none of those things.
You know what it must be? I
So-
did think about this. I think Instagram must have hired a quality control, and whoever was looking through it just did not allow it to go on the internet. And that's saying a lot if this guy was just like, it's not going on the internet. There, so many things have gone on the
Yeah,
internet,
you might want to
Yeah.
thank him.
just not this.
Well, John's punishment is coming very soon. So you'll see that on your Instagram and Facebook feeds. This time it won't be screwed up by
Why
the internet.
did you emphasize it like that? I'm so much more uncomfortable right now. Especially with your hand on my knee. It's really weird.
No,
Peter
it's
is
going
slowly
up the
trying
leg.
to enter the life
That's
of
not
being
say-
a dominant.
Don't say Peter is slowly trying to enter. I don't like that. You're trying to make me feel more uncomfortable here.
Anyway, men in spandex. Yeah, let's
It's all connected.
Let's get into it. Guys, let's just get it started.
What
We're gonna
order
tell-
are we gonna go?
That's a
in, Peter?
good question. We haven't actually talked about this. Normally we kind of decide beforehand, but let's do it on the fly.
Let's do it.
Cameron's gonna start. No, I'm gonna start. No, Cameron's gonna start.
Peter's superhero name is Indecision Man.
So Cameron's gonna start with a line, and then it will go.
I'll go.
Okay.
I'll do it.
Then John will go. And
I
then-
swear I'll do it.
And then will go after John. And then
Try
it will
me.
be Cameron. And then after that, it's...
Me again.
Okay, and then after
If I'm still
John,
around.
it's back to me. And so on and so forth. If you don't understand
Like Colin Firth.
So on and so forth.
It's not
Bring
even
me
late.
Bridget Jones's Diary.
Okay, yeah, let's get into it. So we're gonna go, Cameron. We didn't even say what our first line is from. Well, it's almost 10 years to the day since
No, it's
the
not
first.
almost. It's 10 years as of today,
Oh.
the day we're recording.
Yes.
Because I'm one of those weirdos who goes on Facebook on this day. And I was one of those weirdos 10 years ago who I posted on Facebook, tomorrow's Iron Man. And then 10 years ago today, I posted, tonight's Iron Man. So
Wow.
I know it was 10 years ago
10 years ago today, the
Reminded
Marvel
by-
Cinematic Universe
by
kicked
myself.
off with a little AC/DC Back in Black in a Humvee in the desert in Afghanistan. Of course, we're talking about Iron Man, which John already said. Yes, Iron Man, the first line of Iron Man, which is the first line of our story.
I feel like you're taking me to court martial. This is crazy. What'd I do?
The driver remained silent as Neal sat in the back seat, handcuffed.
I mean, sure, I did shoot that one guy in the chest, but come on, I mean, he wasn't asking for it.
The driver remained silent.
So do you got a name or anything? Or you just like taking people from their homes in the middle of the night?
The driver remained silent.
I'll take that as a no, you don't have a name. Or maybe you're one of them.
But since it's awfully quiet in here and you're not really much for conversation, I'm gonna sing a long little song I like to sing whenever it's quiet. I'm gonna sing right now.
I really like to sing songs when it gets really quiet in places.
I'm gonna keep singing as long as I can to fill the quiet. Story pause. Peter, collect yourself.
I don't think we can get sued for that, right? Parody, fair use. Good.
It's okay. No one's gonna know that it's the Avengers theme anyway,
God
because
damn it.
it's not memorable.
You lying.
I will
second.
stand by that.
I will fight you. Alan Silvestri is a god.
He is, but for Back to the Future and not for Avengers. Okay.
Story resume.
The driver remained silent.
All right, well, if you're just going to sit there being all quiet and not liking my song, I guess I'm going to have to do something about it. And Neal ripped his arms open, breaking the handcuffs.
He used the side of one of the handcuffs to jimmy the door open and had to decide if he was going to jump out of the moving car or not.
But the door automatically closed again and locked, and the driver turned around to say,
Well, boy, you think you can get out of this here car? You think I'm just a driver?
I'm not just a driver. I'm the driver.
and the man who wants to see you is right here. We're parking.
Wait a minute, Neal said. You're the driver? Does that mean you're not a cop? Wait a minute. Am I going to see the...
Big boss?
The driver shut off the engine and got out of the car. He opened the door for Neal and ushered him out.
Neal didn't want to move for fear of meeting the big boss. But all of a sudden, he found his clothes pulling him towards the door.
He tried to fight against it, but no matter what, he was just being pulled closer and closer.
and so Neal decided to go with the driver.
You see, I'm not just the driver. That may be my name, but I am mainly the delivery guy. And my goal is to get you delivered to the big boss. And I will accomplish that by any means necessary.
I thought you were a myth, Neal said. I never imagined the driver and the delivery guy would be the same person.
Fed up with the small talk, the driver took Neal by the back of his collar and dragged him into the hideout to meet the big boss, where he was waiting for Neal patiently.
Ah, Neal, it's good to see you, the big boss said. I've been waiting for you for so long.
How are you doing? Do you want a sandwich? The big boss said.
It's really nothing. I got the greatest roast beef that just came in. You have to try it. It's great. Right? You like red bread, right?
I mean, I like rye bread, but why am I? Why am I here? Is it? Why am I here? Excuse me.
Oh, well, I'll explain everything in due time. But for now, just sit down and watch this video.
The big boss wheeled in a cart with a VHS player and a big tube box television set and pressed play on the video cassette, which was filled with exposition of the story.
Hello there, welcome to my lair. You're here because you've done something to wrong me in some sort of way. Maybe you hurt one of my people, maybe you hurt a friend of mine or a family member, maybe you stole something from me. You know what you did. Anyway, you know I'm the big boss, and as an expository sentence goes, I will tell you my entire plan right now so you understand what's happening to you. And what is happening to you from this moment will be devastating, heartbreaking, and will hurt you in so many ways. Thank you for coming. Here's what's going to happen.
I'm going to give you two different options. Option 1, I could kill you brutally with giant lasers right now and we'll end this whole thing. Option 2, you can be indebted to me and be my super servant for the rest of all eternity.
Of course, you'll have your time to make your decision because, naturally, I am probably making you a sandwich right now, and I'm sure I have the highest quality meats for you to make your decision on a non-empty stomach.
Again, thank you for your patience and your time. Enjoy the sandwich. I hope it's something good today. Sometimes, even though I get high quality meats, I still get olive loaf. I mean, it is a good olive loaf, but it's just a better day when you get like a nice smoked turkey. So hopefully for you, it's something that you really enjoy. All right, I'll see you soon.
The video ended and Neal was understandably perplexed.
While he did have superhuman strength, he found that his patience for this was growing weak.
Why did you make me watch that video instead of just telling it off to me? It seems like an awful waste of time and resources just to make that video. I mean, really? Is there... Nothing special was gleaned.
Neal realized he was in an empty room, and so he really didn't know why he was talking out loud, but he did that. That was the thing he did when he was nervous.
But the more he thought about it, Neal questioned if the reason he didn't answer so quickly and use his strength to get out of the situation, maybe it was because he didn't have anything to return to. Maybe he wanted to be a slave and live for somebody.
But why would he be a slave when he had super strength? And from what he understood, the boss's only powers were making good sandwiches. I mean, he'd heard stories about the big boss, but every time it was more about the driver and the delivery man, not the big boss himself. He was sure he could take him in a challenge.
Just then, the big boss came back with a delicious-looking sandwich.
He strut across the boar's head insignia in the tile beneath and handed the sandwich to Neal. Have you decided what you'd like to do?
I don't think I have yet, Neal said, eyeing the sandwich.
Let me just take a bite of this sandwich first, and then maybe I'll be able to make a better decision.
Neal took a hearty bite of the sandwich, which was delicious, with rye bread and mustard and all sorts of various meats.
And as he swallowed, he realized he no longer had control of his limbs.
He slumped over in the chair, looking like a big sad rag doll, and realized that the big boss's sandwich skills were even greater than he ever imagined.
For you see, there was no drug or anything inside the sandwich, which was Neal's weakness. The sandwich was just that good.
You know, when I got my superpowers, the big boss started, people thought making a great sandwich would not be a good enough power. And I said, you're wrong. I can rule this city with my sandwich abilities. I'm a sandwich artist. Fuck those guys from Subway.
Story pause. He said, I'm a sandwich artist twice. Like, someone had said something to him in his past in which he had to question his artistry or, like, creativity as a sandwich artist. And it really shook him to the core. Okay, so story resume.
Everybody thought it was a little presumptuous when I named myself the big boss right away. But look at me now. I really am the big boss.
Actually, it wasn't that long after I got that name for myself that you did that horrible thing to me in which I still can't forgive you. Do you remember what it was?
Neal sat there, unable to move, barely even able to speak or think, when it suddenly clicked.
He thought back, and everything faded to white. And then when everything faded back in, he was imagining a time several years ago.
A memory which he could only see in black and white because it was the past.
There he was, a few years younger, a few years less wise, and standing in a sandbox.
In the sandbox were three things: a child, a rubber duck, and a silver dagger.
In a surreal twist, the sandbox was in the middle of a vast ocean and nothing else around.
the wizard that had given him his super strength had, before endowing him his full abilities, snapped his fingers and placed him here. It was a test, he thought. A test he needed to pass.
He figured he'd have to pick one of the three objects. Not that a child is an object. But you know what I mean. And he couldn't figure out which one was the right choice.
You must choose one of the three objects, not that a child is an object. For you see, this is a test. Choose wisely.
He heard in his head. But he realized the only way to choose one object was by destroying the other two.
His first instinct was to go for the child to save, but then he thought that perhaps there was an evil glimmer in the child's eyes, and he wasn't supposed to be tricked by his innocence.
You see, I feel like since this is a test, it automatically means that I need to kill the child. But when I think about it, actually, since you say I have to destroy two objects, and since the child is not an object, I clearly have to destroy the other two objects, and thus making this the easiest test ever.
So he picked up the silver dagger, stabbed the rubber ducky through the heart with it, splitting it in twain, and then threw the silver dagger into the ocean.
And then the child transformed in front of his eyes, a la the final scene in Beauty and the Beast, when the Beast turns back to a human. Just for a visual reference. And the child was the wizard.
Hey, the wizard said.
You chose wisely, my son. Good choice.
Dad? He said.
No. That's ridiculous.
I just mean my son because I'm an older, fatherly-like figure to you who bestowed something to you. This is a pretty common colloquialism. You've met your dad. You live with him.
Neal was confused by the wizard's explanation as to why he wasn't his dad. But he figured he should probably move on because there was something important the wizard had to say.
But he couldn't let it go. This wizard looked a lot like Neal's dad.
Are you sure you're not my daddy? Neal asked.
I'm very sure, said the wizard. But Neal was pretty sure he was lying.
I think you just might be my dad. And you are.
My dad may be my father, boy, but he sure as hell ain't my daddy.
What Neal and the wizard didn't notice during this entire conversation was that a ship that the big boss was on, right next to them, was burning. And everybody, including all of the big boss's crew and all of his friends and family, were burning to death, and Neal was doing nothing to help them.
Additionally, Big Boss was screaming Neal's name specifically for help. He knew Neal even from before then, and they were friends. And Neal ignored the calls as everyone on the ship burned except for Big Boss and his sandwich cart.
Even though Neal hadn't noticed it at the time, now, with the benefit of hindsight, the memory of that ship on fire clicked in his flashback, and he realized what he had done wrong.
In his memory, everything faded to white again, and then when it faded back in, he was back in the Big Boss's lair.
So that's why you don't like eating your sandwiches toasted.
Story pause. That was so dumb, John. That's so brilliant. Oh, God. What the hell's going on? Story resume.
Bodhi.
Wait a minute. You think this grudge had something to do with the fire on the boat?
Well, I just assumed since, like, everybody you loved burned to death while I was just standing around arguing at a wizard who turned out not to be my daddy.
Well, no, you're right. It is about that.
And you've been kind of like catatonic for a minute or two now. Do you want to tell me your answer to the choice that I gave you on that beautifully produced video?
Neal considered for a moment before looking up at the Big Boss and saying, I could never work for someone like you, who, even though it hasn't really been established in this story that you're that bad of a guy, I promise you really are.
In fact, if I had the time to go into it a little bit more, I would talk about how the sandwiches that you serve probably are from the meats of the people that you kill, and it is a very disgusting thing, and I don't appreciate it, but it was delicious, and I just will not tell my friends. But I'm ready for the consequence.
You figured out my secret. Yes, it totally used the meats from the people I killed to make my sandwiches partly more delicious. But they would be delicious anyway. It's just a little extra little flair I give everything I do. You gotta love what you do, you know?
I'm just a really big fan of Stephen Sondheim, and I like his whole Sweeney Todd thing, so thought I'd fashion part of my villainy after that.
But I wanted to be original, too. You know, I didn't want to do, like, meat pies. Meat pies have been done before. So, like, I'm doing sandwiches because I prefer sandwiches. Sandwiches are better, especially when you have... I don't want to go into brioche, but, my God. Have you made a decision?
I think I just told you my decision that I didn't want to work for a man so evil. I feel like I was pretty clear there.
Yeah, I'm definitely not working for you, Neal said. So I guess you're going to have to kill me with your giant lasers, or I'll fight you, because this is a superhero battle that we're setting up right now.
I don't really like fighting, but if we need to fight, I'll fight. But I got this thing in like 20 minutes.
No, I don't want to fight you. You have super strength. My only power is making really good sandwiches, so I'll just kill you with the lasers. Like I said, all right, I'll get you into the lasers are in this room already, so just get up from the couch, get down on your knees.
Story pause. Well, we know where Peter wants this story to go.
No, it's not at all. Do you want to know where I want to go? I'm not even going to tell you. I hope you guys get there. I hope you guys get there. I said...
We know where you want to go with this.
Okay, story resume. Neal figured he'd better play along for the short term, so he got up and then he got down on his knees, just like the big boss wanted. But he had a plan.
The big boss unzipped the curtain that was hiding the laser and wheeled it over to Neal, who kneeled before him.
Now, you think that you've been calling me by my name this whole time. Well, guess what? My name is actually Patrick. Neal is my superhero name. Because when I kneel down and when his knees hit the ground, the entire room shook and the floor bent. And Neal was now the only one on solid ground.
There it is. That's the thing I did, Neal said.
While suspended in midair, the laser beam shot off and lit the surroundings on fire, much akin to the ship that Big Boss was once on that was covered in fire. Except this wasn't in black and white, in memory.
No, this can't be happening to me again. It's so poetic. It's almost like it was written in some sort of story where my beginnings became my tragic endings. Oh, gosh.
Real quick story pause. No, this can't be happening to me. It's so poetic. Like, he hates poetry. It's like, no, I hate poetry. Okay, story resume.
The big boss, while floating and presumably being on fire, searched for his sandwich cart, the only thing he wanted to hold on to in his final moments.
Neal strut out of the burning house like a man on a mission to get to that appointment that he had, which was now approaching 13 minutes. He had a long way to go, and he didn't really know how to get back to town, but he did know that that house would burn behind him, and that Big Boss, hopefully, would burn with it.
As he left the burning house, he heard the last words of Big Boss. When you make my gravestone, my name isn't actually Big Boss. Don't put that on there. Can you please write my real name, which is Francois?
Sure thing, Francois, Neal said, feeling very cool, and that's why his voice changed a little bit. He put on a pair of sunglasses, as you do when a house is exploding behind you, and he started to run for his appointment.
Which, if he wanted to make it, he'd really have to run.
So he ran really fast, and then halfway through realized, wait, why don't I just catch an Uber? And did that the rest of the way and made it on time to his appointment.
His appointment was at the town therapist's office. He was getting marriage counseling before getting married to his future wife, Paprika Powers.
He really wanted to recapture the spice of their relationship. She meant everything to him. I feel again. Story pause. I feel like, okay, if we are the Jamaican bobsled team who is carrying that motherfucking bobsled to the finish line. We've turned it over. Our helmets are skidding across the ice, and everyone's just cheering for us.
We're all just really ready.
Cheering for us to cross the goddamn line. So come on, John Candy. We need to take it there.
Okay, I'm ready.
Story resume.
You see, Paprika Powers had paprika powers.
And so that's why they were such a great pair. She was spicy, and he was really strong.
Which every sandwich artist knows is the best combination in a sandwich.
As he was telling the story of his day to his marriage counselor therapist, he realized something.
He was a pretty lucky dude.
And he learned that the best superpower is a strong personality.
And he realized the secret ingredient to the big boss's sandwiches was paprika the whole time.
And that was kind of a weird realization, but he tucked that away for another day. The end.
Oh, boy.
Part 2. Neal, the sandwich maker.
Francois will return. 2019.
Oh, man. That was up. It
Super.
wasn't even...
It was super.
That was super. That wasn't even, like, weird. It was like, weird... It was weird.
It was weird.
In storytelling conventions, but, like, it wasn't a weird story. Does that make... Like, we told weirder stories, I think.
I think they're mistaking the words weird with nonsensical. This one was weird. Others are nonsensical.
Yeah, this one was weird.
It's late. Guys, what did you learn today?
I learned that we should never ever record another podcast at midnight.
That's what I was going to say.
Today's tomorrow.
John, what did you learn?
I learned what I need to put in the sandwiches to make people really love it.
That's human?
Brioche. Oh, no, brioche.
Oh, okay.
It's a little Soylent Green.
Soylent Green is people.
I learned that, guys...
Spoiler alert, Soylent Green is people.
Children are not objects.
You just learned that, Peter?
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, better late than never.
It's really easy to remember, Peter, because children are not objects, but women are. It's very easy.
So, like, a girl child is like, it's up to your discretion.
That's
Okay.
where it gets hard.
Yeah.
Well, women. You said women,
Like,
not
what's
girls.
I'm not even going to go down this path.
Yeah, thanks
I'm
for
gonna
listening,
shut up.
guys. You can find us on our social media platforms at Finish My Story Podcast on Instagram and Facebook, and Finish Story Cast on Twitter. Go listen to some of the old episodes if you haven't already. They make a lot more sense than this one.
Many do.
Many do. I think that's all for today. Stay tuned after our exit music because we have an outtake there. It'll be pretty titillating.
You.
Bum, 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 bum.
No, don't want to get sued. All right, thanks, guys, for listening. Again, I'm Peter.
I'm Cameron.
And I'm John.
Have a great rest of your war with Thanos. You can beat him. I have faith in you. You fight him, and as you're fighting, you listen to this podcast. Just don't get distracted from the podcast by your fight. The podcast comes first.
I wish Harry Potter were in it more in the Avengers movie. Anyway.
Bye. You didn't story pause it, so I can't use any of that.
I'm so sorry. Can you just do a take of me saying story pause and a take of me saying story resume?
Should I leave that in? Is that say yeah?
Story pause.
No, get it clear, nice, good one. Like you're in the moment.
Story
Like you're
pause.
angry at what he just said.
Story pause.
Guys, my life
Got
is so
him.
difficult right now.
Story pause. Is that right?
No.
Is that how I talk? Story pause.
Story pause.
Story resume.
Oh my god, guys, can we story pause?
Can we story pause?
We need to pause for a second because I just want to say
like
what Peter just said.
It's sort of like a blowjob reference.
He set this up to
Story
be a
pause.
sandwich bad guy, and he wants it to end with a cock meat sandwich.
Extra sauce.
I'm actually keeping this all in, and it's going to go at the end of the episode.
See if I care. They won't know it's me. Wait.
So, but do get a clean story pause.
Okay, and I already said story resume. I don't need to say that shit
Okay,
again.
sure.
I'm not gonna say it again.
I will not. Okay.